Hello students, it's Sam Bennett, your guide to critical thinking. This is another short video on a key concept. All right, so the key concept I'll be talking about in this video is basically the overall process of analyzing an inductive argument. I'm basically going to tell you, here are the questions you want to ask when you look at an inductive argument, okay? So what you want to remember is that some arguments are inductive, some arguments are deductive, and inductive arguments have a different process of analysis from deductive arguments. Okay, so like there's one set of questions that you want to ask when it's an inductive argument, and then there's like a whole different set of questions that you want to ask when it's deductive. All right, so I'm going to tell you about the questions you want to ask if it's inductive in this video. Now, obviously, before you can follow this procedure, you need to know that the argument is actually inductive. So let me just quickly remind you how you can tell that an argument is inductive, all right? So first off, just remember every argument is going to draw a conclusion based on some information, right? So they're going to give you some information and then they're going to draw a conclusion based on that information, okay? So here's an example of an argument. John loves horror movies, thus John would probably like The Shining. That's an argument. Why? Because the person draws the conclusion that John would probably like The Shining from the information that John loves horror movies. Okay, so the person draws a conclusion based on some information, making it an argument. All right, now, but why is it an inductive argument? Okay, why is it an inductive argument? Well, one reason it's pretty simple is that in the conclusion, the person uses the word probably. Okay, so if in the conclusion of an argument the person uses the word probably, well then it's very likely to be an inductive argument. Okay, so another way of putting this is that the person is not saying John is guaranteed to like The Shining. They're just saying it's probable or very likely that he likes The Shining. And whenever the speaker is saying, hey, my conclusion is only probable, not guaranteed, then it's an inductive argument. One other thing, let me mention one other thing. The person is also basically predicting something about the future. They're saying John would probably like The Shining if he were to watch it in the future. Whenever someone makes like a prediction about the future, it's an inductive argument. Because why? Because we don't know the future for certain, okay? All right, so yeah, that's another hint that it's inductive, is that it's talking about the future. All right, so here's the point of this video, right? Is like, once you know that something's inductive, what do you do with it? What do you do with the argument once you know it's inductive? Okay, well, here's the answer. You ask two questions. Once you know an argument is inductive, you ask two questions. Let's see what they are. The first question you ask is whether the argument is strong. The second question you ask is whether the argument is cogent. Asking these two questions, that's the process of analyzing an inductive argument. First, you ask if it's strong, then you ask if it's cogent. All right, let's just do a quick comparison. Like I said, once you know that an argument is inductive, first you ask, is the argument strong? Then you ask, is the argument cogent? That's kind of similar to what happens once you know an argument is deductive, right? Once you know an argument is deductive, as I described in the other video, you first ask, is it valid? And then you ask, is it sound? So by the way, notice what this means. Strong, cogent, that goes along with inductive stuff. Valid, sound, that goes along with deductive stuff. All right, so in short, this is what I want you to know. Once you find an argument is inductive, this is what I want you to do. Ask if it's strong, then ask if it's cogent. Now, of course you're going to wonder, well, what do you mean? How, what you ask whether it's strong, what does that mean? What do I do? Well, first off, look at the other videos, but here is basically the idea. To figure out if it's strong, first divide the premises from the conclusion, right? Divide the oranges from the bananas, okay? Divide the premises from the conclusion, then do what? Then accept the premises and then ask yourself whether the conclusion is probable once you accept the premises. If it's probable once you accept the premises, then the argument is strong. All right, let's look at an example. John drank a health smoothie today, so John is probably healthy. All right, so let's analyze this. Divide the premises from the conclusion. So the premise is that John drank a health smoothie today. All right, accept the premises, and then ask yourself whether the conclusion is now probable, right? If John drank a health smoothie today, does that make it probable that John is healthy? No, right? Just because someone drinks a health smoothie on one day, it does not make it probable that John is healthy overall. So that makes it a weak argument. All right, next question. Right, I said first you ask the question whether it's weak or strong, and then you ask the question whether it's cogent. Now, here's the deal. If you answered the first question with weak, if the argument is weak, guess what? Automatically uncogent. However, if the argument is strong, guess what you're going to do next? You're again going to divide the premises from the conclusion. You're going to keep them separated, right? You're going to separate the wheat from the chaff like this, right? You're going to separate the premises from the conclusion. And then you're going to do this. You're going to ask, are the premises really true? If they are actually true, and if the argument is actually strong, guess what? It is cogent. Okay? To be cogent, the argument must be both strong and have true premises. That makes it cogent. All right. So here's an example. All right. So here's an argument. Look at the argument at the top. Sam Bennett has eaten an orange every day for the past 20 years. So Sam will probably eat an orange today. Okay. So this is a strong argument because when you accept the premise that I've eaten an orange every day for the past 20 years, the conclusion does probably follow, right? So it's a strong argument. But now the question is whether it's cogent, okay? So we're going to divide the premises from the conclusion. So here's the premise up here, that first part. And we're going to ask, is that premise actually true? Now, you wouldn't know this, but look, I'll just tell you, okay? It's not true. I have not eaten an orange every day for the past 20 years. So that's why this argument is uncogent. It's strong, but it's uncogent because it's not true. I have not eaten an orange every day for the past 20 years. So to end this video, I just want to mention this. Being cogent is like winning the championship. There is nothing better for an inductive argument than being cogent. It's the best thing that can happen, okay? If an inductive argument is cogent, it's basically perfect, okay? A cogent inductive argument is not only strong, it also has true premises. Wow, perfect. All right, thanks for watching this video. I hope this was helpful.